Oh, there you are, Warriors. We are so back. A day after being so out. Second end of a back-to-back. Dominated by a man who has put on performances so many times with the word epic attached. And tonight it was just that, epic. 44 for Steph. We're here to break it down. What a win.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
What are they going to say now?
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the good word, everyone? Welcome to the Locked On Warriors. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, now the #1 sports podcast out there. Thank you so much for joining us, making it a part of your day, a part of your week. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're checking us out wherever you get your audio podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend, and thanks for making us a part of your day. My name is Charlie Walter, telling you that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now is a great time for new customers. You can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Matt Kolsky is the guest on tonight's program. We got so much to get into, so little time. But again, oh, there you are, Warriors. We still can do this. Curry, Butler look awesome. Moses Moody was kind of the third wheel, but it was a third wheel we welcomed. He was phenomenal. One of those Curry nights. We got a game-changing stretch that we got to talk about, bridging the third and the fourth. Warriors stepped on the gas late and finished the job, and we went from no offensive flow to humming. But let's start off with Steph Curry, one of those nights where he was hitting everything. He hit the leaning three in the first half where he tried to take the foul and just threw it up. It goes in. He was cleaning windows at one point, going window shopping. The bank shot was money, hitting threes. Said that his legs were a little tired in the first half, maybe losing a little confidence. He was leaving them short. Had a moment there, staring, reflecting, and getting ready to dominate. What a performance. 44 from Steph.
I texted my friend Bob Fitzgerald towards the end of tonight's game. We're all just lucky to be alive when Steph Curry is playing basketball. That's it. We're just lucky, man. What a joy to be able to watch this guy do his thing. And it was all about him tonight.
He went 46.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, 46.
Excuse me,
you said offensive flow. I mean, they were getting some open shots in the first half, but they were bricking everything. And it wasn't until Steph Curry started to do Steph Curry things that it all came together. And boy, is that just a beautiful thing to watch. I mean, we'll talk about Moses Moody. He was great tonight. Jimmy, not just the 28 points, but I just thought clearly a much more aggressive mentality from the word jump. A lot of good to talk about in the game tonight. No question about it. And a win that, I mean, listen, when we talked post-game last night, we hadn't heard Draymond and Jimmy post-game. So yeah. I'm not sure we realized how dire it's the locker room was feeling at that
guy
moment.
Was falling for about 9 hours, and this is one of those wins that just completely changes the vibes, right? You get a day to rest, go do it again on Friday, and you beat a team that was 8-2, and that's legit. I mean, the Spurs are really nice, and it felt like they were going to kind of control this game at the beginning. I thought, here we go again. Looked like they were going to roll. Warriors put up a 43-28 third quarter that flips the game. Curry shot more free throws than the Spurs team when it was all said and done, I believe, unless that changed in the last minute. I don't think it did.
Well, he had 16, and the Spurs as a team had 16, so tied.
Okay, so he shot as many free throws as the entire Spurs team. You got to like
made
that.
One more.
Yeah. So that third quarter, though, specifically, Curry gives it to Butler with about 3 minutes left. He had scored like 5 straight possessions to get up to 37, I believe it was on the night. He had 22 in the quarter, and I'm thinking, Steve, come on, what are you doing? Don't take him out right now. He's got the hot hand. Puts in Butler. Butler holds down the fort, man. And it was right as Wemby came in, too. Like, Steph checked out, Wemby comes in. That's your stretch where the Warriors were able to hang on, because once Steph came back in there and Stephon Castle was gone, that thing's over. I was begging De'Aaron Fox to keep shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose relative to Victor Wembanyama, you'll basically beg anybody out there to do something. I mean, look, Castle's good. Sadly,
Vassell
we
had a
didn't.
nice night.
He did. Sadly we didn't get to see Dylan Harper, who I think is maybe going to be the best of those supporting players to Wemby. But boy, oh boy, that guy impacts the game on both sides of the floor like almost nobody I can think of. I mean, it's right up there already in year, what is it, 3?
Yeah, he's like 22.
It's right up there with guys like LeBron and Jordan in their primes. Not necessarily his overall level as a player, but just the like percentage impact he has.
Oh yeah,
all the time on both ends of the floor, man.
Yeah,
the way guys are just afraid. There was a play where Jimmy Butler was on the baseline tonight, and he just flat out beat his man. I forget who it was, maybe Devin Vassell. And he beat his man about 8 feet from the rim on the baseline. And Victor Wembanyama was defending the opposite three-point corner, standing on the opposite side of the paint. And Jimmy Butler, from right in front of the rim, saw Victor on the opposite side of the paint and stepped back and took a jumper. And that's Jimmy Butler, like not Steph Curry. So it's unbelievable. And that just makes it all the more incredible that Steph Curry scored 46 points tonight on a night where in the first quarter, you would have said he didn't have it, right?
They scored 14 as a team in the first. And we'll get to the first later on to kind of break down how it went, but we're not going to talk about the ugly first. There was way too much good, but Wemby was one of those goods. I mean, for San Antonio, he was so damn good. 45 of the 55 points the Spurs had in the first half were either scored or assisted by Wembanyama. He makes it feel like you're playing against the old Syracuse zone with Jim Boeheim, where they just beg
He's
you.
all 3 dudes at the bottom. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
That 2-3 zone. He's the arms that are flying everywhere, and it's fun to watch. That was a hell of a matchup. First and foremost, what a game we saw.
Yes, great game, great performances from great players, and we haven't mentioned yet. Draymond Green, when you see what Wembanyama is capable of, I would say that Draymond's defensive performance tonight was, weird to say, I guess, when a guy goes 11 for 22, 31 points, 15 boards, and 10 assists. But Draymond was really something against him tonight. He did force 8 turnovers. He did make a lot of those shots tougher than they often are for Wembanyama. And that's what's so incredible about Victor is that I thought they did a pretty good job against him tonight. And he has a 30-point triple-double, 30-15-10 triple-double. It's hard to even fathom how he's going to impact the game. 2 triple-doubles for the Spurs tonight in a loss because Castle had one too. That team, man.
Yeah,
and again,
nice. And you mentioned Dylan Harper not even playing. I kind of forgot, and he's really good.
He's
really
already
good.
very good. Yeah, this team is a championship contender. So, no, they're certainly not on the level of the Thunder, who you saw last night. But the Spurs right now have to be considered in that next tier of contenders, and I'm not sure after what I've seen from everybody so far this year that I wouldn't favor them to be second in the conference. Although, again, there's Houston, there's Denver. It's nasty out here, man. The Western Conference is no joke, and there really are not nights off.
Yeah, they're like Pistons West, although I think they're better than the Pistons, honestly. They're really good, no doubt about it. I said they'd finish like 5th in the conference. I mean, it's such a good conference that Houston's pretty nice too.
And injuries, of course, could change all of this, but wow.
You would think they finish top 5, though. I think that's pretty
would.
fair. Yeah,
Certainly
I think that's a team that's going to finish top 5 in the Western Conference, assuming they can stay healthy. A lot that we want to get to. Fourth quarter, some of the big rebounds that Gary Payton had late. He played some really good minutes. And why I thought the game-changing dudes, very obvious. It was Butler, it was Curry, and Moses Moody. It was a trio that really just kind of seemed like it was Butler, Curry, get the ball in our hands. We're going to go to work. And then they trusted Moody. They said, Moody, you come along with us. We like your game. And it was a lot of three-man offensive basketball. And they were looking really good. Draymond, we mentioned the shots were not falling tonight. He was 1 of 10, 0 of 7 from three. Thought one was going to go down. It's been a good start to the season shooting from three, but not tonight for Draymond Green. But let's talk about the fourth. We mentioned the third that got the Warriors the slight lead. How were the Warriors able to slam the door? And also the play from Brandon Pajemski. Let's leave it at that. It's coming up on Locked On Warriors.
Destroy Jimmy and Domino's. I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
All right, today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Wayfair. Now's the time to tell you about Wayfair because holiday season's right around the corner, and it means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new liners, or fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. And the reasons why you want to make your space shine, it's very obvious, but what they can do is they can make you not wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long. You get 70% off everything from sofas to spatulas. If you want to upgrade anything and everything, they have it there. It's easy to find pieces that fit your style. It's nothing generic, just quality designs that feel personal. If you're hosting family for the holidays, check this out. Don't miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale up to 70% off. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends on December 7th. Let's get back to the show.
Destroy Jimmy and Domino's. I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
All right, man. So kind of respond to what I was teeing you up with in terms of the three-headed trio that the Warriors relied on tonight. It was Moses Moody kind of giving them that spark early with 4 threes in what felt like 5 minutes of game time. It was Butler throughout the night making the right plays, slowing the game down, getting to the free throw line, and most importantly, trusting his three-point shot. He was 5 of 7. He was letting it rip whenever he had any sort of space. And then we mentioned Curry, 44 points. There wasn't a lot not to like about that trio, but it did feel like, there wasn't a lot of Pods with the ball in his hands, Buddy with the ball in his hands, no Quentin Post, no Gee. It felt like offensively, it was always those three dudes with things flowing through them.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, again, tonight is kind of the perfect test case of the whole concept to me, right? The Spurs are a legitimately really good team. They've played as well so far this season as anybody other than the Thunder. You beat them, not exclusively, but in large part because of Steph Curry and Steph Curry having an unbelievable game. I'm not saying Steph Curry has to go for 40-something for the Warriors to win, but I am saying that it's all built around him. And
built around him and Jimmy combining for 70.
Well, right. I mean, but even Jimmy, like, he can do things, don't get me wrong, and he played really well tonight. And when he plays aggressive like he does tonight, everybody benefits. But it's still like, we can talk about, Will Richard maybe didn't give you what you would have hoped in his first, was it his first start? In a start tonight.
No, he had 30 in his first start.
That's right, because he started when nobody played. But this is his first start with the Hall of Famers.
Did hit a big three late, though.
I'm not cracking on Will Richard. It's just, unlike Moses Moody, he didn't stand up in that starting spot and grab it like, hey, I belong here, right? He's been good all year. He's a 56th pick overall. There's no shade whatsoever toward Will Richard. I'm just making the point that, like, we could have conversations about Will Richard and Horford and Pods and even Moody, who was really good tonight. Even Kuminga, who was irrelevant tonight because he left with a knee injury before, around halftime. But none of it really matters that much if Steph Curry isn't Steph Curry. So, and to your point, secondarily, if Jimmy Butler isn't Jimmy Butler, and to a lesser extent, if Draymond Green isn't Draymond Green, at least on defense. So, I don't know. Those just have to be the first things to me. And I know we're going to spend a lot of time talking around the peripheral players on this roster over the course of the year because it's not that those guys don't matter, and obviously some of them can help.
Can we make a pact right now, Kolsky? I want to
Sure.
write this down on paper. We will not overreact to a terrible stretch where you lose to Ryan Rollins, who's actually having a really good year, and the Pacers, and don't look good against the Nuggets, and don't look good against the Thunder, obviously. Don't overreact to any of this, because at the end of the day, like you said, the only thing that matters is when April rolls around, how healthy are your dudes?
Give Steph Curry a shot. That's
Truly,
it.
that's all he needs. This proves right here against this Spurs team that's rolling right now. You get in there with number 30, you got a chance. And guess what happened last year? They had a chance. They won a series. Hamstring. They don't win a damn game. So, I mean, we know the formula, and that's why it's going to be a tough year to not get ahead of our skis and say, no Gee, no post, no Pajemski, no. At the end of the day, all that matters is that, Butler, Curry, they're playing good basketball. And when Moses Moody steps up, that's a welcomed addition.
And you know what? They got guys like after tonight, people might be cracking on pods. After the last couple of games, people are going to crack on Kuminga. And I get that. And that's fair enough. That's the job for those dudes. But ultimately, they got 5 or 7 guys that could step up on any given night. And on nights where, 3 or 4 of them step up, they blow teams out. But none of it matters if you don't have the Hall of Famers at the center of it doing Hall of Fame things, because none of the rest of those guys are good enough to lead you anywhere without the Hall of Famers in front of them, period. So, that's why nights like tonight are a good reminder, and you hope to steal some games without nights like tonight from Steph Curry. But, yeah, I mean, with all due respect, Chuck, I think only one of us needs to write down not to overreact.
I have a laundry list.
It's just reactionary, Chuck. It's okay. We've come to expect it.
It's what I do. It's what I do best. Show moves along. Fourth quarter. Let's talk about the end. Butler had huge buckets. Steph comes back in. He, picks up, I think he had 37 and finished with 46. So what, 9 points in the final 6 minutes or so? That's not bad at all. And Gary Payton looked good. The lineup that he was in looked good. Al Horford hit some big shots, but I want to specifically talk about Payton. He had some big offensive rebounds, specifically a couple that led to a possession that got Curry a 3 that proved to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, those were actually the only 2 he had, I think. And
he had the back cut layup.
Yes, and he had one basket in that fourth quarter.
So that's all he had. 2 offensive rebounds, 1 possession, and 1 basket, but they were loud.
Yes, and look, we know that Gary's capable of that. Unfortunately, I just don't think he has been very good overall this year, and I don't even necessarily think he was particularly good overall tonight. But he made big plays when they counted, and certainly Steve Kerr trusts the guy, and we have watched this team enough to know that it means a lot for Steve Kerr to trust a player, particularly a reserve player. So look, I don't think the best version of the Warriors has Gary Payton playing, but that kind of goes to my point, right? On any given night, they really do have 11 or 12 guys that can make big plays in big moments for you. None of them, the bottom 10 of them are not going to do it on a regular basis, but they got 9 or 10 that can do it every now and then. And you hope that works out in sort of checkerboard fashion, that if Steph and Jimmy are doing their thing on a regular basis, enough guys are stepping up on any given night. And I think that's what we saw tonight, right? Not a great night for Pajemski or Buddy, middling for Horford. Kuminga barely played, left with an injury, but Moses Moody stepped up big, and Steph played well enough that it almost counts as him and another guy stepping up. So
good, man.
This is the formula, dude. But the formula sort of counts on Stephen Curry being a complete and utter alien.
Yeah, what he does in the Thunder game, that doesn't work. This
Correct.
team, they're not built to beat really anyone. I mean, think of how good the West is. If you got in and Curry wasn't there, like who would you feel comfortable beating?
Maybe Utah.
Utah's not getting
They're not going to
in,
be in
though.
the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah. No, and that's the whole thing, right? You don't feel comfortable beating the 10th or 11th best team in the Western Conference.
we know how this team is built, and it's
Yeah.
easy to overreact from time to time when he's not playing well. But then when he does this, you saw it last year in the 7-game series against Houston. He gave you 5 unbelievable games for the most part. Some epic performances.
I think an interesting question, Chuck, is like how much of that, like, think about this, right? Last night was a terrible loss. Steph was actually there, right? But I actually think the vibes were worse than the loss. I mean, the team you lost to is killing everybody, right?
Yeah.
The vibes were even worse. And I think that's a result of Steph being sick and out of the mix for a week. Like,
Everyone realizes they can't do anything without him.
Well, not just that, because I think that's normal. We overrate that sometimes. Like, pretty much every great, and like the Thunder are good without Shea, but they're not the best team in the league. Everybody falls a good deal if they lose their best player. But no, it's more just the joy he infuses makes it hard for the vibes to get that down, I think.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
I think that matters. He is just such a singular presence that
No doubt.
it's easy to start to lose track of what the heck we're doing here.
Good take.
Steph
I like
misses some
that.
games.
Yeah. I mean, you tend to forget that from time to time during a long season. I think I forgot how sexy that Spurs logo is that they displayed tonight with the turquoise and the like vibrant neon pink. It honestly felt like I could have been double fisting like a Game Boy Color and a Mewtwo card. That it was so 90s to me looking at that court, man. I mean, I've always wondered this, like why some of the 90s logos had to change. I mean, there were Rockets. There were so many that were just Utahs. There were so Memphis's when it was Vancouver's. So many that were so good. And they, I don't know why they needed to do that. So good to see the Spurs recognize it tonight. And that place was hopping for the Warriors to get a win and spoil their color reveal night. I was watching the Spurs broadcast, actually, and they said no other team in the NBA should get to wear black. Spurs are the only team that wear black. I was like, okay.
I got to think about that. I mean, I like the Warriors black jerseys. There's a few black jerseys that I enjoy.
But you think about it, like Raptors, you think of purple. Yeah, Sixers, you think of black, though, from the AI days.
Yeah. I don't know that the Spurs get to claim NBA
claim black
jerseys. Yeah, sorry guys, but I totally agree with you on that throwback. It's one of my faves. It's the same color scheme as Miami Vice, basically, but with a little orange thrown in. And it looks delightful on the court. It makes for a great t-shirt. I'm into it.
No doubt about it. All right, let's continue the show. When we return, we are getting into the final details of the win. We'll name a player of the game. Actually, we'll just do that right now. It was Steph Curry. Shocking, everyone. We're going to look at the road ahead, which continues on Friday with another one against the San Antonio Spurs. How often do we see this? How do the Warriors usually fare in these games? We're going to debate that. It's coming up on Locked On Warriors.
Forget that. We champs. Why are you starting with that question? We got 4 championships.
All right, today's episode is brought to you by BILT. It's time to start earning. If you're spending, you may as well be earning. Let me tell you a little bit about our sponsors. BILT, nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where BILT comes in. It's changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards you can actually use. When you pay rent through BILT, you earn flexible points that could be redeemed towards hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But BILT isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood. The best part about it, the rent works for you. If you're going to the local CVS, grabbing food at your favorite local restaurant, or heading to the gym, you're still earning rewards. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/lockedonnba. That's joinbuilt, BILT.com/lockedonnba. Make sure to use the link so we know that they sent you. They know that we sent you. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook, and right now is a great time to get in on the action because right now, new customers, if you bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets. Did I say 200? $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. It's the perfect time during the NBA season. Riding hot hands with live player props to who's going to score next, to fourth quarter comebacks on the live line. Plus, combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for your shot at a bigger payout. Keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. I mentioned $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
And buddy, stop trying to dribble the ball.
All right, we are running this thing back very soon, and you saw what the Spurs are with Stephon Castle, with Mr. 100%. I mean, Harrison Barnes had a pretty good game. I thought defensively, especially, he looked good out there. He had 11 points. Wembanyama, the triple-double. Castle, the triple-double. Vassell hit some big shots. He had 15. Fox had 13. We saw our old friend Lindy Waters play a few minutes in this game today. And then Luke Cornett gave you some issues with 12 points down low, hitting all 6 of his shots. But, hey, you'll take Luke Cornett buckets if it means you only hold Wemby to 30 and only hold Wemby to 30. But let's get into that first quarter, man, and talk about why it looked ugly and how the Warriors were able to change it. The Spurs were just crushing the Warriors in the paint and on the boards. I think they were doubling up the Warriors after one or close to it. Golden State, they shot 18 of 22 threes. 18 of their 22 shots were threes in 12 minutes. They went 4 of 18 on those threes. They went just 1 of 4 on twos. They didn't shoot a single free throw. And think about what I said. Curry and Butler combined for what, 30-something? They were down 28-14 after one. After one, did you think the Warriors had any shot to win this game?
Yeah, but I wasn't liking their chances very much. It's still the NBA. Stuff happens. They were getting doubled up to finish that point. It was a combination of things. Honestly, there are nights where the Warriors take the same shot profile in that first quarter, and they have, 35 points or something. They missed a lot of open threes. But, and I think we've talked about this fairly frequently too, something this team does way too often is if they hit a couple of threes early, they'll take them way too long after they start missing. So I think Steph hit his first 3 and Jimmy hit one early. And then it was just a steady diet of threes, almost none of which went in from just about everybody, including Draymond and Pods. That's not the right approach. And I think if there was a difference that we saw in terms of approach, it was attacking the paint more consistently, then
more
kicking
movement
it out to shooters.
More movement in general.
Yeah, some more movement, but I didn't think the movement was terrible. It was just a lot of movement around the perimeter and kicking to an open shooter without repeatedly penetrating the paint. And
once Curry started hitting shots, you saw how it opened up everything because they were getting back cuts. Jimmy was back cutting. Draymond was finding people. I mean, it was pretty consistent, But
honestly,
everyone was getting good looks.
But
Richard almost had one, but it hit off his knee, I think.
Yeah, but even late in the second quarter, I mean, yes, Steph was hitting some shots then, but that was before he started just raining threes and going all Steph on everybody. Even that was better production, and
that's when Moody took over. That was that stretch.
Moody hit those 3 threes, but also like a bunch of guys hit 2s as well. I mean, part of the reason they were gunning early is because the Spurs' weakness to this point of the season has been defending the 3-point line. But if you just keep shooting threes, even when you're missing, you start to get stagnant. And also, if you're shooting threes without taking the time to penetrate first and move the ball around, it also creates like a negative momentum, right? Where you're coming down, 2 passes, shot goes up, and then they're running back the other way. If you're not making them, it makes it feel stagnant. And that's what I think happened to the Warriors in the first quarter.
All right, so Warriors get the big win. Let's get to one more player tonight. It's Brandon Pajemski. Had some rough moments there. I thought Kerr was going to pull him after the stretch where he dropped the ball, and then right after that had an illegal screen, and it was back to back to where it was like, come on. But he hit a big three, stayed in there. Steve Kerr clearly trusts him. He played 29 minutes. He had 6 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 turnovers in the game. He was 2 of 7. He was 2 of 5 from 3. And that's where you just say, DeAnthony Melton, come for Pods' job unless Pod steps it up. You know, it's as simple as that. It's no shade. It's nothing. I've been a Pods guy for a long time now, but he's not playing great. It's as simple as that. He's not playing great. And your only options to replace him right now, because it's not, going more GP2, in my opinion.
No.
Your best option to replace him is to get a healthy DeAnthony Melton and hope that he returns to the player that he was for Memphis a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that and more Moses Moody, I think, is the answer. GP2 is, I just don't think, is the answer anymore. And honestly, even if he's, what happened to the GP2 that it felt like was dunking 3 times a game? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know where the basket cuts don't seem to be at the same level that they once were from him. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. With Pods, I think we all have given him the defense of like, he's always doing stuff. And the effort is loud with him, right? I think we rarely is Pods on the floor, and afterwards it's like, oh, Pods was on the floor. You know what I find interesting? Like, we always talk about how he's a connector and the game kind of speeds up when he's in there, and there are quick decisions. And I feel like this year specifically, starting to notice a lot of times that the ball stops, he gets into the wrong spot, he picks up his dribble, things just kind of slow down. Even his shots just a little. It's slow developing, so maybe that plays into it as well. And he throws in the is it the Pinoy step? Is that what we go with? Whatever we're calling it.
We're calling it, throws in that. It's slow, so he kind of just
he
kind of just plays with that speed in general. But it does feel a little bit slower when he's out there from time to time.
I would agree with that, but I think that's as much just noticing flaws in his game over an extended period as it is a major change for him. I will say, like, the effort is loud, and that matters. I think Jonathan Kuminga could take a page out of that book. I don't know that it's always more productive, but it's clearly better for earning the coach's trust, and I think it's better for earning your teammates' trust. I mean, there's nobody wondering whether Pods cares, right? So I don't want to be too harsh on the guy who's clearly struggling, just to. What is the thing that
Kolsky, you're not his uncle.
What does he do? What does Brandon Pajemski do at an elite level?
At an elite level, I would say rebounds for his size.
Right. I think that's probably
takes charges at an elite level.
He does. That's a good point. He takes charges at an elite level.
And he needs to shoot threes at an elite level. And 2 of 7, whatever it was, 2 of 5, even though that is 40%. You see, that's the thing. It just feels like he misses shots when he needs to make shots sometimes. And it didn't feel like he went 2 of 5, 40% from 3 tonight. I remember the one.
Yeah. I mean, he did, as you say, he did.
The numbers don't lie, right? I mean.
Well, and he did hit a big one late, right? I mean, like, that's why the thing about Pajemski is he never stops pulling at the rope, right? Like, I'm just trying to see what his 3-point percent. Yeah, I mean, he's down again on the year. It might come up a little bit tonight, but so far, before tonight, he was 36.4% from 3, which is
he's 38. That's what he's going to give you. So he's going to be there when it's all said and done. But he does it quietly. He doesn't go in flurries.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is, like, The shooting hasn't improved. The ball handling hasn't necessarily improved.
No, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, and all of the like float game and layup package that he had like isn't surprising anyone anymore and hasn't developed a whole lot further.
The step's not working like it was. The Pinoy step, it's not working like it was.
Well, no, because if you go to it enough times, then people are ready for it, right? It's like anything, and if you're going to be a great offensive player in the NBA, you come up with counters to every single thing that happens. But I don't know that Brandon was ever going to be that. The problem is, I'm not sure he can be a good offensive player if he doesn't do any offensive things at a particularly high level.
And that's why we wonder, can he get to that mid-range consistently and knock it down?
Exactly.
And he hasn't really done it this year. That baseline fadeaway, that's a pretty elite shot.
If he can hit it consistently and get to it consistently.
I mean, he doesn't get to it consistently, but he hits it at a pretty good rate when he gets there.
I guess I don't feel like Brandon Pajemski does any one thing offensively well enough to be like a high impact offensive player on a consistent basis. Right?
But on a night where Kuminga's out with knee soreness, you just don't have any other options, and that's case in point.
No, of course.
Number one until
and he wasn't terrible. He really wasn't terrible tonight. Like, he had some bad moments, he had some good moments. I think that is probably what you can expect to get from Pods. And listen, I understand fans who have been told he's going to be the guy to shepherd the franchise into a new era might be disappointed with that result. But if you've been watching him, I'm not sure there's ever been real reasons to believe he's more than that yet. You hope someday, but like, other than idle talk from the player and his owner, what indication has there been that Pods would be much more than what we've seen this year? I don't know.
None, man. None. Stretches, I would say, actually. There was a stretch last year where he
stretches of really good basketball. And again, I don't think he's been terrible this year, and I bet he will have some awesome stretches.
Yeah,
but
I bet he will. I bet he comes back.
That makes him a fringe starter. Not
this Warriors team does, man. That's what we said last game. You talk about them for a few games. You say how they're down and out, and their best days are behind them, and they come out and ball, and then they have 3-4 good games, and he's back. This is the starter. It's Moody's team, and then all of a sudden here comes Kuminga, and then here comes
just beat Indiana the first time. They'd be 8-5 right now. I just don't think anybody would be so worried.
Yeah. Hey, a win's a win, man. 125-120 on the road. We'll do this again on Friday. I will see y'all on Thursday. Locked On Warriors. Dubs win.
Can you get Wemby twice in a row?
That'd be nice.